right, looks like we are live. Get my mic. Make sure my mic sounds nice. Check one, check two. Let's see. This mic stand be tripping. Give folks a few minutes to come on in and see if we can get us a conversation going. One of the brothers asked me earlier a question that sparked this topic. So I just kind of wanted to jump in and see if we can get us a conversation about this very thing. Right? Looks like we are live. Right? Got a little feedback. Let's go. Let's go with, let's see. Yardley Bond. What's good, brother? Brother Yardley is always in the place. Good to see you, bruh, at the bakery as usual, making them donuts. How you doing, bruh? Let me see. I'm going to share this out, give the people a minute or two to come on in and see if we can get us a conversation going. Let me see. Where we at? All right. Let's share this to the group. All right, give me 1 second here. Just want to. All right. There we go. All right. Cool. My man Yardley say chilling like a villain. That's what's up. What do you think about this topic, Yardley? How much say should the woman have? How much say, not just your woman, but particularly wifey? How much say should wifey have about our comings and goings, or about our goings on? That's the question. What you think about that, bruh? My man Yardley says none, zip, zero, nada. My man Yardley say you come and go as you please. You say even with wifey, or is that just for a girlfriend, or what, Yardley? What you think? Say I'm a grown ass man. All right. So you don't answer to nobody about nothing. Now, Yardley, I know you're not married. If you were married, would you feel the same way? If you were married, would you still say that that she has zero say? Grown man, you come and go as you please, even if you're married. What do you think about that? Let me see. Get rid of that. Yeah. I'm not going to stay on too long. I just wanted to jump on real quick and respond to the brother who asked me a question. Let me pull this question up real quick. So the brother asked me, man, I don't even see the question now. Something to the effect that it was dealing with hanging out with friends. And I guess, how much is too much? How much, basically how much say so? How much should he give in, or how much should he accommodate what it is that she feels about, him wanting to hang out? Let me see. I'm going to pull this question up real quick. Here we go. The question was, how much time should you spend with friends? He said, I've been married 25 years and I would like to know how the brothers feel or what they're doing, if it's a problem or not. So how much time you should or shouldn't spend with friends? That's the question. Yardley says, yes, I lead, she follows. Outside of that, there can be only one captain of the ship. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share a couple of my ideas in regards to this. Look like we don't have, but just me and you, Yardley. I was hoping to get a couple more people on here. Let me see. I didn't check YouTube. There might be some people on there, but I'm going to go ahead and jump right on in. So the question is, how much say should wifey have about my goings on? I say, my answer is probably not going to be the most politically correct, or at least socially correct, because I know a lot of, the narrative right now is that, like you said, I lead and she follows. But I'm gonna throw you a twist, bro. I'm gonna say that she should have about as much say in your goings on as you expect to have in her goings on. Now, that's not a popular opinion. That's not a popular perspective, right? But here's what I say about that. One of the benefits in having a woman in our life, one of the true values in having a woman in our life is the emotional investment that she pours into us. That's that battery that she put in our back. That desire to be, what is it we talk about? Feminine. She's going to be feminine anyway, right? She should do that. Beautiful. She should be that anyway, right? But that other one, inspirational. We want her to remain inspirational in our life. So watch this. By the time we decide to make her a wife, that means that she has elevated to a status above the level that we view the average, ordinary, everyday woman. Right? I think we can agree with that. And one of the reasons that we elevate her to the status of wife, promote her to the position of wife, is because we feel that she's a cut above the average woman out here. Otherwise, why even promote it? If you can find that anywhere, no need for promotion, right? Let's see, Yarley says, if I am leading, it is my responsibility to lead a life that does not include drama, jail, drugs, or murder. Okay, I can smoke a bag of that if I smoke. Now, here's where I'm going. I think that, again, there's a reason why every job has people who excel versus the average, right? The average worker comes to work, does his job, goes home, doesn't really do anything exceptional. But there are inevitably some who will excel. And those who go above and beyond, do a little bit more, excel at their craft, whatever it is, they tend to separate themselves from the pack, right? Whether it's better pay, more benefits that come along with that, etc., right? If everybody was the same, if every worker was the same, then there would be no need for promotions. There would be nobody elevated and getting these extra benefits that the job has to offer. Well, if I'm a husband and I'm looking at myself as, let's just put me in the category as an employer, and I'm looking to take on a wife. If all women are the same, then I can get a good woman anywhere. Now, Yarley, I think you're about my age. And I think you know as well as I do that good women are not a dime a dozen. They are not to be found just anywhere. They are not in abundance in our society. And look, I'm not a super religious guy, but I like it when the Bible says, when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. The reason that he finds a good thing is because that woman who qualifies to be promoted to the status of wife, the reason that she gets to that point is because she's not quite as common as we like to believe. This is why you have so many men out here who have an abundance of wealth, abundance of riches, and they still aren't satisfied. And the reason that they're not satisfied, partly or a large part, is because they don't have that feminine counterpart in their life, a woman that they feel good about to move forward with. So I go back to my original question. How much say should your woman have in your goings on? Here's another question. If I'm leading, why isn't she following? Right? If I'm leading, why isn't she following? I can think back to the earlier days of my marriage, and I used to ask that same question. I wondered, what the hell is wrong with this woman? I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Why isn't she showing up and following my lead as I put my foot down? Look, I pay all the bills. She's not homeless. She's not hungry. Everything she needs is provided for. Why isn't she doing as I say, following my lead, right? Here's where I'm going with that. We have a culture, not just here, but abroad too, right? Throughout the world, where we are sometimes, let me say it this way. We are often so preoccupied with leading and so preoccupied with her submission that we often overlook the value of her cooperation, right? And so sometimes, hell, maybe even oftentimes, good judgment on her part is what keeps her from following. Look, fools get married too. And I can tell you right now, when I asked my wife to marry me, I was a young man. I was only 18, right? But she was much more mature than I was. And I'm telling you, I was on some foolishness. And there were times where, look, as I look back, I'm thankful that she didn't follow my lead. She wasn't compliant with foolishness, because that would have made her a fool too. And two fools, right? If you got two fools, that's like the blind leading the blind, right? And I'm telling you, I know I'm far from being the dumbest cat out here. There are brothers right now that I talk to that say, damn, man, if I had known 5 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, some of the ideas that we're exchanging now, I would still be married to my first wife or even my second wife, or I would not be single at this point in my life because I ran a good woman off, right? So let me see. Yardley got some comments. He says, proper vetting of your woman is important. Men are the gatekeepers of relationships and marriage. Women must constantly meet your standard, wife candidate, to receive the benefit of your commitment and resources. That's partly true. Here's the other part of that truth. There is a standard that we must also meet. There is, in order to receive the benefits and the commitment and the resources that she brings to the table. And here's one of the problems that we face. Oftentimes we miscalculate by measuring what she's bringing to the table, right? Measuring her resources and her benefits monetarily. You cannot live out your legacy without the agency of a good wife. What is the purpose of a man being here on this planet? The primary purpose of a man being here, look, if you want to follow the Bible or any other religious aspects of why we're here, it is to be fruitful, multiply, subdue the earth, right? You can't do that without a woman. And you can't do it effectively without a healthy minded and a healthy spirited woman. So if you just have a woman that's under your foot, doing what you tell her to do, regardless of how foolish you are, regardless of how dumb your idea is, then she's going to pour that same foolishness into your children, into your legacy. She's going to seed your legacy with the same idiocy that you're pouring. Because we're not always right. Sometimes, look, even today, I'm almost 50 years old, and there are times where my ideas are not the greatest. Here's an example. I won't be too specific, but I tell you what, my woman came to me with a suggestion that was counter to what I wanted to do. I said, man, here's the plan. This is what we're going to do. And she said, nah, I think that's a bad idea. This was about 11 years ago. I'm wise, right? I'm 40 plus years old. I got it figured out. I'm almost 40 at this time, about 38. I said, this is what we're going to do. And she said, look, she said, I'm going to go with you. She said, but I'm telling you right now, I don't think that's a good idea. I had it all figured out. That decision cost me well over $100,000. If I had listened to what she had to say, or at least been willing to have a more thorough conversation with her, I would be at least $100,000 richer, liquid. I ain't talking about investments. I ain't talking about hard assets. I'm talking about liquid. I would have had easily $100,000 more just by saying, say more. Tell me more what you're thinking about. Tell me what you're talking about. Because she had it figured out. She was seeing things that I could not see. She was doing things that hot water alone can't do. What I'm saying is this. There's hot water, there's cold water, but there's a medium, right? There are things that hot water alone cannot do. Try washing your colored clothes in hot water and watch how fast you need to go shopping for new laundry. Try washing things that need hot water in just cold water and see how quickly you need to run out and resupply or replenish your wardrobe. I'm saying that by the time you elevate a woman to the status of wife, she should be bringing a complementary value to your life that you see as necessary as cold water is to hot water, as necessary as north is to south, east is to west, right? So that means she's not better. I'm not better. She's adding a value to my life that without her, I'm going to find it much more difficult to achieve these objectives alone. I'm going to make many more mistakes without the value that she's adding by myself. And I'm telling you, it's in that point, at that point, when we begin to see each other in that light, that our relationships take a whole new flight. Let me see. Michelle said, because she don't trust him. My wife didn't trust me. Peace, Brother James, was good. Man, Robert Lee says, explain why people say it's not about being right or wrong. Now, I like that question. I like that question. Look, you can get into a conflict. I always say conflict is inevitable. Combat is avoidable. What does that mean? Conflict just means we have different ideas. We can both walk into the room at the same time and I can say, man, it's warm in here. And she can say, man, it's cold in here. We're both right because we're speaking our own individual truth, right? It's not about being right or wrong. It's about being righteous. It's about being right and just, right? So if we walk into the room and I say, I'm warm, she walks in and she says, I'm cold. Well, if she's already cold, why the hell would I turn the AC up or down rather to make it even colder in the house when I can probably just take my t-shirt off, wear a wife beater around the house, a little A-shirt, a little tank top, and now we both cool. That's the difference between being right and wrong versus being right and just. See, I'm not forcing her to make an unnecessary compromise. So now because I went over there and said, nah, I'm right, you're wrong, and it's 72 degrees in here, that's too warm, I could go in and say bump it down to 70. Now she's sitting over there with a hoodie on or blankets on when I could have just put a tank top on. That's the difference between being right and wrong, or fighting about right and wrong. Yarly says she should be a compliment, an enhancement, an asset to your life. She should. Here's the thing, brother. You should be just as much a compliment to her, an enhancement to her, and an asset to her life. This is the principle. When I was talking about north versus south, east and west, hot and cold, I'm talking about principles of complementarity. I'm not talking about the man leads no matter what. He's right no matter what. I put my foot down, what I say goes. I'm talking about she brings an element to the relationship that is equally necessary. I'm not talking about us being equal. I'm talking about she is equally necessary, right? There are things that I can do that she simply cannot do. right? So no, we ain't equal. But guess what? There are things that she can do that I just cannot do. There are ways that she sees the world that I could not possibly view the world. She is not necessarily equal, but she is equally necessary. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Come on, man. Where my church at? Michelle says necessary. That's what I'm talking about. But want to be the leader. Leadership can never be selfish because there is no one to follow if they ain't leaders. Man, look, I'm trying to tell you, look, y'all got me off topic. Brother James says we should both complement each other, is what I'm saying. Right? So the question was at the top of the show, the brother asked me, how much is too much or not enough for me to hang out with friends? So let me address that. We all have our ideas about necessary venting time, relaxation time, and we all have our own unique ideas about what that means to us. Some of us need more me time. We have a greater need for me time. Some of us have much less. It works out well with me and my wife because neither one of us have a very high level or high need for what you call me time. And we don't really spend a lot of time hanging out with friends. So we spend a lot of time in each other's company. And every now and then I might hang out with my brother or with some friends or whatever. And there's never an issue when I decide I want to step out, right? What happens is oftentimes people, when we talk about this idea of being equally yoked, oftentimes we have people that are getting together in a relationship that are not equally yoked. So you have one person who has a very high need for me time, personal time, getting into a relationship with someone who has a very high desire for togetherness. So one person is saying, damn, I only go out, 2-3 times a week. To that person that has a high level of or high desire for personal time and me time, 2-3 times a week, it's not a problem. But to the person who has a high desire for togetherness and us time, damn, this third time you've been out this week. That's going to create a situation where we have not only conflict, but it's probably going to lead to combat, possibly even irreconcilable differences. So these are things that have to be fleshed out, vetted out. What do we do when we're already in that situation? Let's say we're married and we have children, and now we're just now realizing that we're at this point where we're unequally yoked. This is where the spirit of compromise comes in. And so what is compromise? Compromise is not deciding that I have to lose in order for us to be okay. Compromise is deciding that my mate has just as much right to be happy about the outcome as I do, right? So let's say I want to go out 3 nights a week. That's what I'm used to. That's what I love. That's what I feel like I really need. And my woman has a problem with me going out 3 nights a week. We're going to have to find some medium. If our relationship is going to thrive, then it can't be all the way her way because now I feel smothered. It can't be all the way my way because now she feels isolated. So this is where a healthy discussion has to come into place where she understands my need for personal time. I also understand her need for togetherness or us time. Let's have a discussion about how we can somehow meet where you get your itch scratched and I get to scratch my own itch as well. And we should be able to, as healthy-minded adults, we should be able to rationally arrive at a place where we say, this works for us. Maybe that's 2 nights a week. Maybe that's 1.5 nights, whatever it is. Maybe that's a night where, hell, I just need to get out the house. It's not necessarily that I need to get away from you. I just need to get out the house. And maybe one of those nights, you come with me. A healthy discussion has to be had so that we can find out what works for us. And sometimes those differences are irreconcilable. Sometimes we're just being so stubborn that 3 is my magic number and I'm not willing to budge no matter what. Now we got a problem, right? So what happens if we decide that we're going to settle on that 3, and I'm going to disregard. I'm not flexible. I'm not compromising. 3 is my number. It was the number before I met you. It's going to remain my number long after you, while you're here, and it's going to remain my number no matter what you decide. Watch this. I'm in a group called Black Married Men Only. And there's a brother in there, OG Troy. And he made a post. Now, the brother works hard, right? His wife also works hard. They both work very, very hard. So he made a post in the group that he was at work. He was already at the work site. His wife, on her way to work to seal a $1 million+ deal, on her way to work, she stopped by his work site to drop off breakfast. The brother said, "I'm so glad that my wife still does wife stuff," right? He used different language. I'm just going to keep it rated PG, right? "I'm so glad that even with all the things that my wife has going on, she still does wife stuff." She stopped by on her way to her own job to close a $1 million+ deal. She thought about him, brought him breakfast. Now, I know a lot of brothers whose wives don't even work and they can't get them to make breakfast. I know brothers whose wives, and I'm talking about black and white. I know white guys who can't get that level of compliance or cooperation from their wives. So miss me with that whole black women are the most combative and non-compliant, because I know Mexican guys who catching hell from their wives, white guys, not so much Asian guys, because I don't know very many Asian guys, but I know plenty of non-black people who cannot get cooperation, the level of cooperation that they want from their wives. So it ain't a black-white thing. It's a masculine-feminine interaction thing, right? Watch this. I guarantee you, I have not had a conversation about this particular thing with this brother, with Troy, about this. But I guarantee you, I'd be willing to bet you that he does not disregard what it is that his wife wants from him, desires of him, needs from him. I bet you that they have plenty of healthy conversation and that there's plenty of compromise, healthy compromise taking place in their relationship. And maybe he'll see this video later and he'll, let me know if I'm right or wrong. Here's the point. Men and women are both emotional. So miss me with the men are logical, women are emotional. We're all emotional beings. And here's how you can prove that. The brother OG Troy is as masculine as they come. Yet he thought enough about what his wife did to go on Facebook and make a post about how elated he was, about how great he thought it was that his wife did something that many people might think is a simple gesture. She dropped off breakfast. That's an emotional thing. That's not a logical thing, right? That's an emotional thing. That's a way of emoting, a masculine way of emoting his excitement about what his wife did for him. Women tend to be more emotion driven than men, right? Men tend to be a little bit more logic driven than women. Talking tendencies, not absolutes, right? I know on both sides of the spectrum. Here's the point. What his wife did for him was born out of the spirit of emotion and emotion-led action, right? She knew that he would understand that she had plenty going on. She knew that he wasn't expecting her to bring breakfast. She had her own thing going on. She had a lot to do. She had a whole lot on her mind. There was no way he was even expecting her to do that. One of the reasons that she was willing to do wife stuff is because of the emotional reservoir that she has for him to tap into. The reason that she's able to tap into that emotional reservoir that she has to do things for him like that is because he keeps that reservoir full. He pours into that reservoir so that when his wife can find a little bit of extra time, I got 15 extra minutes. I'm going to drop my baby off. I'm going to scramble these eggs and make this boy some waffles or some French toast or whatever it is. I'm going to drop this off on my way to work. Ooh, my baby going to be so happy. This is emotion that this woman is driven by in order to do this for him. The reason she's able to do that, willing to do that, is because her cup is full. The reason her cup is full is because he pours into that cup. The reason that he pours into that cup, the reason that her cup is full, the reason, a large part of that is because he doesn't disregard what it is that she's asking of him. So when he says, if this same scenario where she says maybe, hey, babe, you've been spending 3-4 nights a week, that doesn't make me feel good. I guarantee you they're going to have a conversation about what that means. And I guarantee you they're going to arrive at a place. She might not necessarily get her way. Maybe she wants him to not go out at all. She might not get all of that, but I guarantee you she's going to get some level of compliance from him that makes her feel good about the conversation, good about the outcome, good enough about the outcome that her reservoir doesn't get depleted. And then he gets to continue to feel, hey, my baby brought me breakfast even when she didn't have to. And I'm saying a lot of brothers can't get that level of compliance and cooperation from their wives because her reservoir is empty. And her reservoir is empty because you're not pouring into it. You can't get blood from a turnip. You can't get water from an empty well, is what I'm saying. If you don't pour into your woman, it's going to be hard as hell to get out of your woman. Oh, yeah, if you make enough money, she's going to do some things, right? She's going to do some things for you because, in a sense, money is the bully factor, right? And you're providing her with a lifestyle. This is where this high value man idea comes in. I'm going to have to do a separate video about that because I got some differences of opinion on what a high value man is. But look, Yarly said, that's why I learned to cook. Look, man, it's not about that. It's about having the luxury of somebody to scratch your back when you you could reach it, but maybe it's a little harder for you to reach it. Maybe your arm is a little bit sore today and you can't quite reach it the way you would like to. And then she come up behind you and say, don't worry about it, baby, I got that. And she scratched that place that was just a little bit harder for you to itch. And I'm saying, having a wife on your team, you talk to any man who's been married for any length of time that has a high level of cooperation from his woman. I ain't talking about submission, man. Y'all got the wrong idea about submission, right? A lot of us think that submission means she do what I tell her to do. I make the bacon, she cook it. Or as someone said earlier, I lead and she follows. Many of us have an unhealthy idea about what that means. And I'm saying to you that there is a complementary level of submission that is required for a healthy relationship. And I guarantee you, you show me a man who does not have a complementary level of cooperation with his wife, and I'll show you a man that could be $100,000 richer, but he ain't. I'm saying you could be a high value man, right? This idea of high value man, and you could be so concerned about your money, you making $100,000 deals hand over fist. And your woman might be submissive. But I'm saying if your woman was cooperative, rather than just a lot of our unhealthy ideas of submission, those $100,000 deals might become $200,000 deals. I'm saying those $200,000 deals might negate the need for you to work 80 plus hours a week. She might have just saw something that you didn't see. And instead of just being submissive and doing what it is that you told her to do, maybe she has the freedom in her heart to say, hey, you know what, baby? I see something that you might not see. Think about this. And then if you have a healthy respect for what it is that she brings to the table, you might say, damn, I'm glad you said that. I didn't see that. I'm saying the relationship has more energy, more fuel in the booster when you have a high level of cooperation than when you just have a woman that's doing what you tell her to do. Let me see. Let me jump in here. My man Yarley says, let's see, I know I've that a few times once upon a time. Coach Michelle, see, wait. Yarley says submission equals trust. And I'm going to tell you, it does, but it goes both ways. And I'm telling you, a large part of the reason we don't have what we should have out of these relationships is because most of us as men, myself included, earlier in the game, we see that as a one-way street. It's a losing effort. Coach Michelle says, thing is, these men think they kings. How about this? The king isn't a king without a kingdom, which means he must first be a king, taken care of or looking out for, providing for all that first. Look, let me tell you something. I love that. We get, a lot of times as men, man, we get it twisted and we think, and I tell you, this is what I thought, and I know I'm not the dumbest cat out here. We often think that providing just means, look, you got a roof over your head, you got food in your belly, you got clothes on your back. We miss the mark when we don't realize that providing security in more than just physical ways, but emotional security for her to be herself and operate at her fullest capacity. That requires a level of emotional security that we are also supposed to provide. You understand what I'm saying? And if you don't provide emotional security for your woman, that's going to lead to emotional instability. Show me a woman that's emotionally unstable in her relationship, and I'll show you a relationship that's unstable. I'll show you a woman that's not looking out for her man's best interest. What the hell you need a wife for if she's not looking out for your best interest? I'm telling you that if you're not operating in the spirit of complementarity, boy, look, you'd have missed the whole point of getting married. Let's see, my man James says Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos are considered high-value men, but lost their marriage. Look, that's a good point. I have seen so many memes going around talking about if the richest men in the world couldn't keep a woman happy, ain't no hope for any of us. I don't have but a fraction of the money that they're talking about. Brother James only has a fraction of the money that these men, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, have. And I guarantee you, our women ain't going nowhere. Nowhere. Immeasurably more happy, immeasurably happier than those men's wives were. Ain't going nowhere, and they got a fraction of the money. My wife was with me when I worked at Taco Bell, son. I worked at Taco Bell, and my wife was with me. Wasn't going nowhere. Y'all don't hit me, man. I'm telling you, it's about the spirit of complementarity much more than it could ever be about the money. Hell yeah, money is important. My wife is a whole lot more comfortable now than when I worked at Taco Bell. Our home is a whole lot nicer now than it was when I first joined the military as an E1, right? There are things that my wife has now. My man, y'all already said free taco. Yeah, look. There are things that we can do now that we couldn't do then. And but she wasn't going nowhere even then. And my wife is still a cutie pie now. When she was 21, 25, man, she had dude. There was a guy that thought my wife was so fine that he walked into a light post because he was looking like this. Ran straight into a light post. There have been men coming at my wife left and right. Look, I'm only 5'8". I'm a little guy. I'm talking about dudes 6'3" with abs, Cadillacs, all kind of stuff. Can't get my woman. Look, I don't have a complex about being a short guy, right? Because I know that I bring more to the table. The way I measure up in other areas of my life, the way I measure up in her life, she ain't going nowhere. Is that cocky? Yeah, maybe. I don't care. She ain't going nowhere. I bet you Brother James' wife ain't going nowhere. Now, here's what that is, though. Watch this. Many of us think that it's just about us. It's not. You got to first have the level of discernment to choose a good woman. And then, let me say that again. I got to say that again because I think I might have glossed over that too fast. You have to have a level of discernment about you as a man to where you choose a good woman. Now, not every woman that's good is good for you. You can be a good man choosing a good woman who's not good for you. That's a separate sermon. I'm gonna have to come back and talk about that. Look, man. Let me see. Hold on. How can a real man feel proud sticking out his chest about how much money he has when his house is jacked up? That makes no sense with these men nowadays, man. That's the word. Yarley says, little guy, big guns. That's right. I got him. No joke. Where y'all friends at? Bingo, 1,000 points. Man, look, I'm telling y'all, when a man has a level of discernment, one, you have to have the discernment that allows you to choose a woman that's good for you, right? That's able to cooperate with the mission that you have in mind. That's one. But then you have to have a level of discernment that says, hey, you know what? I can't get this just anywhere. Women are not good women. Women that are good for you are not a dime a dozen. That's why the Bible says when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. Not because they're just in vast abundance. Nah, man, they're in short supply, especially the good ones, right? So when you have the discernment to determine which one is good for you, then you also have to have enough insight to know I better treat this one like I don't want to lose her. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there's brothers out here saying that high value men don't cheat. We exercise options, right? I'm a high value man. I'll admit it. I fall into this category that you might call high value man, but I'm smart enough to know that what I get from my woman, I can't get just anywhere. So I'm going to pour into her. I'm going to treat her with a level of respect and a level of, I'm going to make her feel like I value her presence so that her reservoir stays full. So that in turn, look, I'm selfish. I told y'all that. I'm selfish. I do these things for selfish reasons. I'm going to make sure her reservoir stays full so that I can continue to extract from that reservoir the things that she pours into my life that make me feel good. So what? Am I selfish? Maybe. But she feels good about my selfishness. I feel good about my selfishness. She feels good about what I'm pouring into her, even if it's selfish motivated. I'm saying it's the gift that keeps on giving. I'm long-winded, man. I didn't mean to stay on here this long. But I'm telling y'all, man, if you don't learn to treat your woman with a level of healthy complementarity type of energy, you're going to lose. And then you'll be out here like many. Look, I have clients right now who are 60 plus years old saying, damn, man, where were you 10 years ago? Where were you 15 years ago? I got a brother who is, look, Yarley said, not selfish, just territorial. My man, I'm extremely territorial. You can even call it jealous if you want to. I don't give a damn what you call it. I'm all that and some, right? But I'm territorial as hell. Look, I got a brother who was on his third marriage. Let me take a sip. Hold on. I got a brother I was coaching on his third marriage, hanging on to his third marriage by a thread because she was giving this brother hell. And me and him start talking, and I'm coaching, and I'm conversing, and I'm sharing things with this brother, insights with this brother, things that I've learned in my travels. And he said, damn, man. He said, if I had known this, I would still be with my first wife. Are you understanding what I'm saying to you, man? A lot of these relationships are salvageable, man, but it is our outlook on life. And it's a conditioned thing, right? Because this society has taught us that men are more valuable than women. It's foolish as hell, in my estimation, because you can't look, there is nothing more valuable than people. You can't get more people without women. You can't have healthy-minded children without a healthy-minded woman. How do you have a healthy-minded woman? You have to pour into her to the point where the outcome yields healthy results. I'm saying you can argue what you want if you want to, but you can't argue with results. And there are a lot of high-value men, aka Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, and the list goes on, whose women are walking away with half their fortune. Yeah, you might laugh at it and say, oh, they don't care because they got plenty more. They didn't want to lose what they had. I bet you that. They worked too hard. They care too much about money to not care about losing it. I'm saying, that's it. I think I answered all the questions that I planned on answering. Let me see if there was another one or two. And I'm going to jump on off here because I didn't mean to be on here for a whole hour. Let me see. What else did I have? Y'all got any questions for me before I jump off of here? Let me see. I think that's all I have for y'all, man. Biotech science has artificial wombs now. Yeah, that might be true, but we can't afford it. And I tell you what, an artificial womb, I'm going to drop this on y'all real quick before I leave. Because when you say artificial womb, you made me think about something. How can I say this without hurting feelings? I probably can't, so I'm just going to say it. Pornography was made for beta males. I don't even use that term, except for in the context of explaining and relating to an idea, or relaying an idea that I want to convey. Pornography was made for beta males. Why do you say that, Vaughn? Why does Vaughn say pornography was made for beta males? Here's how you know. Because alpha males are too busy doing what the beta males are watching them do. The hell I look like watching another man do to a woman what I'm capable of myself. I don't need that. I can do that. I can make my woman make the same sounds that he making her make. Look, I know some of y'all want to argue with that. I know somebody want to argue with that. Somebody saying, man, get the hell out of here with that. The hell I look like watching another man pleasure a woman when I can do that myself. Oh, I know why. Probably because you have a hard time doing that yourself. And I'm saying study the game. Study your woman. Learn your woman. And you can do that yourself. You don't have to watch no damn porn. You don't have to watch a man. You understand how corny that is, man? That's corny as hell watching another man get down with a woman. And you sitting there saying, damn, I wish I could do that. Being fascinated by what another man doing for another woman. Step your game up, man. That's all I got, man. I'm gonna jump out of here. Yarley says, I can agree with you. We were all betas at one time. Yeah. Look, man, I had to get, it was a climb to get to the level I'm at. And again, like I say, I don't really care too much about the terms alpha and beta. I mean, that's, I don't think they apply really when it comes to us. But as far as being the type of man that a woman can really appreciate, genuinely appreciate, not just because you got money, not just because I can get her a Birkin bag. Biggie said it best. She's sexing me. She's sexing me while her man masturbates. Man, that part. That part right there. You got, oh man, I don't even have to go in there. I mean, that says it all right there. Yarley says, I stopped years ago. I came to the same conclusions. Man, there's brothers out here right now that will argue you up and down. You're not going to argue with me. I'm just going to say what I say. Like Dr. John Henry Clark says, I'm not going to debate you. Nah, I'm not going to even say that because that's John. Well, I'm going to say it. Dr. John Henry Clark says, I only debate my equals. All others I teach. I only debate my equals. All others I teach. I'm going to put something out there like that. Porn is for beta males. You can argue with the details. Let that be what it is. Hey, family, I'm going to jump on off here. I've been on here long enough, a lot longer than I had intended to be. But I love y'all. Thank y'all for being here with me. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. And for that, I'm eternally thankful. Love y'all. Peace.